It's now official. The United States has authorized Ukraine to use long-range weapons. The US State Department confirmed the removal of restrictions on Ukraine's military to deploy ATACMS missiles against military targets on Russian territory, believing this move could shift the dynamics on the battlefield.
The weapons President Biden authorized Ukraine to use will give it more capabilities to defend itself and hopefully make the Russian Federation understand that using force to seize Ukrainian territory will not succeed. This might prompt Russia to negotiate peace or, better yet, withdraw from Ukrainian territory entirely. It is up to them whether this war continues or not. Brian A. Nichols, Assistant Secretary of State for Western Hemisphere Affairs, in an interview with the All Global newspaper.
European countries may soon follow the US example. According to Joseph Borrell, the EU's High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy.
After long discussions, President Biden authorized the use of long-range weapons until 300 kilometers inside the Russian territory. That's a very good news for the Ukrainians. They have been asking for that. Now the US has granted this permission. In Europe, it is the national competence. Some member states are already doing that openly. Others they are doing without saying, and others, yesterday, they said nothing. But I'm sure that they will follow the example of the US in order to allow the Ukrainians to use their arms to fight against the Russians inside Russian territory, because it is from the Russian territory where they are being attacked. And it is fully in accordance with international law.
French President Emmanuel Macron and Polish President Andrzej Duda have both expressed support for the US decision, with Duda calling it a potentially decisive moment in Russia's war against Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has also highlighted the significance of long-range capabilities.
Regarding long-range weapons, we are working to ensure that all countries support this capability. After recent discussions about nuclear threats, I think it's time for Germany to also back these decisions. Now that we have commitments from key countries, it's crucial to couple them with the necessary resources to reduce Russia's military potential.
Meanwhile, the Kremlin wasted no time responding. Vladimir Putin approved a revised nuclear doctrine, signing a decree on the foundation of state policy in the field of nuclear deterrence. The new policy allows Russia to use nuclear weapons in response to aggression by a non-nuclear state, if supported by a nuclear-armed state. This specifically includes large-scale drone attacks.
This is about nothing, really. Why? Because Russia has already repeatedly used weapons, including against territories that, according to its constitution, are recognized as its own. It's also widely acknowledged that Russia missed the window for potentially using tactical nuclear weapons against Ukraine. Strategic nuclear weapons aren't even part of the conversation anymore. Furthermore, Russia's key allies and partners, most notably China and India, have repeatedly warned Moscow against using nuclear weapons against a non-nuclear state.
Experts believe that granting Ukraine the green light to use long-range weapons on Russian soil could significantly reduce the intensity of fighting along the front lines.
Now, with the authorization for Ukraine to conduct preemptive strikes, the situation changes. This primarily involves tactical and ballistic missiles, which can be used to prevent the accumulation of reserves, manpower and equipment close to the front lines. Additionally, strikes on operational rear areas can disrupt Russian logistics significantly. This capability could impact the intensity of fighting and lead to the destruction of critical logistical hubs.
It's worth noting that report of President Biden's approval for Ukraine to use ATACMS missiles surfaced as near as November 17th. The New York Times reported that Ukraine is likely to deploy these weapons against Russian and North Korean forces in the Kursk region to defend Ukrainian positions. Reported by Bastun Katerina, Yulia Granovska, UATV News.